morning, guys. You can see everything is actually still going pretty strong, but the sweet potatoes that are outside of the hotbed, that are up above the hotbed, are starting to yellow. It was rainy today and a little bit cold, so I really want to open up the greenhouse so that the turkeys and everybody can come and get in when it's raining. But I know exactly what the turkeys will do if I do that, and that says they'll come in here and they'll start getting in the bed. So we've had frost in the 20s, freezing in the 20s. We've still got little beautiful tendrils of perfectly fine sweet potatoes in here. We're not covering it at night. If I were to cover it at night, I'm sure that we wouldn't have any frost, but this is uncovered, unheated greenhouse except for the hotbed. So once again, I came out here to cut it and it's just not ready. All right, so I'm going to show you, there are definitely still healthy plants in here. They've been nipped, but not killed. Some of them aren't even stressed at all. Alright, for those of you who wonder why I'm putting it in a feed sack, the reason is it's going to be open. It's woven plastic, it's not solid plastic, so it breathes. Alright, so this is my Austrian scythe. It is an Acer Diamante blade. If I was cutting grass or hay right now, I would sharpen the blade, but on big things like this, it cuts through them without a problem. So I'm just going to cut down the sunflowers. We have one more row of corn to save for feed for the goats, and then this particular little row is over. I have a row right here that has some metal hoops in it. If I were to try to cut those with this, it would dent and ding and actually tear the blade. It's a very soft, fine, thin blade. I have a peening kit that sharpens it nicely, and a sharpening stone, a whetstone that works really well, but it's better just to not have to take it into the blacksmith for a major repair. So I'm going to go ahead and cut these. Hopefully you can see it well enough, and then I have to get in because it's raining. Alright, these are the wire things. I'm having a hard time getting a good full swing because of them, so I'm going to have Kaya pull them up. They're just in this row all the way down. Alright, so there we go. The reason that I cut them down is because they're going to be in the way. With these ones, within a certain range, it can do everything. For some things you need to sharpen it more, for some things you need to have a different angle. On this one, it's kind of a brute force thing. And again, with the blade, you always have to watch for rocks and other things. So you have to kind of have a pretty good idea and do a little bit of inspection of the area before you use these. But I love having it in my arsenal. We have a little hand side that you bend over for. But these guys were going to be too tough to use that easily. We have hand loppers we could use, but then you have to bend over, and then the stalks fall on top of your head. And where we've got yellow jackets in these canes, in these stalks, I didn't really want the whole bush falling over on top of my head. And so having something with a longer reach is really nice. Ah, the mystery squash. Are you grabbing the zucchini too?
I grabbed about 3. I know Paige wants that big striped one for seed.
Okay. All right, so we had really good meals out of these stripy zucchinis. So I think one problem we might have is it might cross-pollinate with something else.
Like the white squash?
Yeah, well, I don't think the zucchini can cross with winter squash.
Still though, that'd be
interesting. But Paige wants to save this for seeds, so we will go cut into it and get the seeds out for next year.
Yeah.
And we're going to put it on the table so we can keep it separate. I find it very interesting that I have been building this living fence here. You can see these willows along the perimeter. They're in a swale, and it took me 8 years, 7 or 8 years, to get them established enough that they would have babies coming up. They're an easy spreader wherever you have water, but we are alkaline desert. So it took that many years to get them established. And I think it's funny that the one spot that they want to come up and spread is right in the middle of my potato bed. Ugh. But we've got 4 rows to do. We only have 2/3 of one row done, and we've been eating out of this row since June, I think. We've been eating out of this row since June. And that's how long it's taken us to get through it. It's a 50-foot row. We have 4 to go, or 3 1/3 to go. Any potatoes that get split or nicked in any way, what I do is I collect 1 big oven's worth of potatoes all at a time, rinse them lightly, put them in, and bake them until they're done. Then I pull them out, we take the skins off to feed to the pigs, I grate up the potatoes, I put them in baggies, I put them in the freezer. We have tried canning potatoes, and we don't like them. So hash browns works really well for us. If I don't get the potatoes cooked once they've split or been punctured, they just rot. So I've got to fix it, and I've got to use it pretty much instantly. Along the line of canning goods, we just don't do well with canned vegetables. We do much better with fresh things with enzymes in them, or frozen. We just don't do well with canned. Dehydrated as well, we do well with, but sometimes they don't rehydrate again nicely. We're experimenting currently with the freeze dryer. We did receive, I think it's called a Harvest Right freeze dryer, and so far I haven't used it. John has used it. He really likes gimmicky technology type stuff, so that's his thing. He's been playing with it. I think once our harvest has calmed down a little bit, I will feel more like playing with it, and we'll see what we think about it. The reason you haven't seen a review on it on the channel is because the jury's still out. I don't want to suggest you buy something that's going to cost you thousands of dollars unless I'm really sold on it myself and would spend the money myself. So it may be a little while before I get out any information about that. The little ones work really well as planting potatoes, and so do the green ones. So don't throw them away just because they're really green. Don't throw them away because they're really yellow. Just save them in a special box in your pantry for using to plant in the spring. As you're doing any project like this, I am remembering why I wanted to try the raised bed potatoes in my backyard. This is a lot of work, and it's a little bit frustrating the soil is moist enough that the potatoes are happy, but it's not moist enough to make it easy to dig them up. You have to really guess about where the potatoes are, and about half of your potatoes get speared. So far I haven't speared any this time, but I'm remembering. So I do have a gardening journal, and I do write it all down. And I actually am thinking I want to make sure I'm really writing it down this time, because yeah, I've got 3 more rows to do. Make sure to write it down in your journal. I like a little loose leaf 3-ring binder type journal, so that I can take pages in and out, and so I can take like seed catalogs and cut things out and paste them and put cardstock and everything in it and make it really nice. That's how I like to do my journal. And even though I'm gonna have a lot of potatoes, I'm thinking it would be nice if I didn't have so many potatoes and it was a little easier to dig them right now. How's it going, honey? Well, then I guess you should stay with it while you can do it right now. Then I guess you should go do it while you can do it right now. I don't think you... Okay, I will come do it then. Do you have your spot already? Have yourself set up the way you want? You're breaking down. Did you want to do potatoes? Okay, so you can range anywhere from this size that doesn't fit in my hand to this size to even smaller and even bigger than this. When you have homegrown potatoes, you just don't really know what you're getting, which is why we start harvesting in June, is to see how the health of our potatoes are going. Does it need more fertilizer? Does it need more water? Does it need less water? So again, we start harvesting these in June. Hands.
Huh?
Hands.
Ants?
Hands.
Hands.
Use your hands.
Whole wheelbarrow.
Good girl. Okay, you remember how to set these on newspapers on the floor of the pantry, right?
I thought we were going to do it in the garage.
Is there floor space in the garage? I'd say do it in the pantry then. We go through them pretty fast.
We might just not have enough room.
Now this is witch grass. It's a rhizome grass. Grasses are generally rhizomes, but this one is really aggressive. If I find a potato that the root of a grass is grown into to get water, I'll show it to you. Alright, this is a grass root that has grown. You can see that sharp point. So those grass roots are going into that potato because they want the moisture from the potato. What I have found very interesting is that those usually just heal over. They don't rot. So if they have a grass root through them, I just leave them. I leave the grass root and then I pull it out when I cook it. It's just a fibrous piece in the middle of the potato and it doesn't hurt anything. It's just not a big deal. Same as always. What does that mean?
Same thing as always.
Same thing as always. A little bit further back.
Actually, like that way, holding it in one hand.
All in one hand like this? Cheesy. Say cheese.